first. Any of those guys in your mind particularly that most impressed you or stood out, or anybody you're most excited about, the four outside of Roses?
Yeah, I would have to say it's a tough one. Everybody looked pretty good tonight, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Bruno. If I had to pick one that really, I mean, I said it up there, 29 years old. He's 9-0, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions, and, you know, he looked nasty. He'll be a fun addition to that weight class.
I did want to ask you Austin Lane as well. I mean, does it show you something, I guess, when somebody loses? I mean, there's a lot of guys that might be the end of it, right? They're like, oh, my dream was there, but he battled his way back. Does that show you some character?
Yeah, no, I think that if it's your dream, you don't just quit there. You go back to the drawing board if you're young enough and figure out what's next, you know? Those are the guys that are real fighters. You know, sometimes it takes something like The Ultimate Fighter, The Contender, or something else in your life to find out whether this is or isn't for you.
Narula was the first fighter from Tajikistan to make it to the UFC, and I'm just curious, is that wild to you that at this point there's still countries that haven't been represented in the UFC? And I mean, when you hear things like that?
It's crazy. I don't know if you saw, but we were posting, you know, on my Instagram and social, we post the warm-ups and who's coming up next or whatever. And, you know, there's like 30 comments on most. His has 1,500 comments already. So, yeah, this guy is one of those people that we talk about that literally has a country behind him.
All right, now let's talk about Raul Roses, right? The 17-year-old, clearly, I mean, unbelievable skills in there tonight. Didn't get the finish, but only because his opponent was incredibly tough.
100%. This is one of those fights. This fight was awesome for both of these guys. This was good for both of them. You got a guy who's now 6-0, and Mondo was 7-1 at the time. And what a war, what a technical fight it was. Both guys pushed themselves as hard as they could. And for a 17-year-old to conduct himself the way he did in this fight, I was blown away by it. Blown away.
You know the obvious questions, right? Like, I mean, he's so young. Clearly he's skilled, but when you bring him into the UFC, like, are you worried at how you matchmake him off the top? Because we just...
Not off what I just saw. Not off what I just saw. After what I just saw, this kid's ready for, you know, he's ready to fight in the UFC.
You have to be careful and, like, not let him sit down at the casinos and at the slot machines.
Yeah, he's gonna be... Probably shouldn't fight him in Vegas for a while. He'd be bored as hell here. He'll have to sit in his room the whole time. But yeah, no, I'm very, very impressed with this kid. He's absolutely special. The amount of fighters that were blowing me up, you know, going, oh my God, this kid's for real. This kid's legit. You know, impressive.
Do you take an active role in how his career goes from here? Because, again, other organizations kind of have the luxury of being able to slowly walk somebody along a little bit. You can't really do that in the UFC, I don't think. So
yeah, this definitely isn't that place. But when you find, you know, look at Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall came in. Mickey Gall wasn't 17, but Mickey Gall came in here at 1-0. You know, I brought Mickey Gall in off looking for a fight to fight CM Punk. And he had a pretty good career here. You know, he hung out here for a while and had some good fights and did pretty well. You know, if you find these kids that you think are talented and you end up being right, they'll last here. You know, and what I saw from this kid tonight, he looked special.
Like you said, just one more week of this. What do you think the future is like next year? Do you think you can do more of these? I mean, what is 10 weeks enough? What do you think the plan is for the Contender Series next year?
Yeah, no, 10 weeks is perfect, you know, especially for us to be able to pull off this season coming out of the pandemic, pretty impressive. So hopefully next year will be better.
Just wanted to ask you a few outside of this week. We just heard about Cody Garbrandt, that fight not happening. Just curious if you had any update on him and kind of his status. Obviously, a lot of people were sad to see him not competing.
Yeah, off the top of my head, no, I don't know exactly what his status is, but yeah, it sucks. You know, but it's part of the, you know what's crazy? It seems like it's not happening as much as it used to. Back in the day, you know, we used to have so many injuries and all these crazy things going on. I think that the training has gotten smarter. I'm sure the PI is a big part of that too. And, you know, it doesn't happen as much as it used to, but, you know, Cody's not a young buck anymore either, so that doesn't help.
Commission meeting, there were 6 events for the Apex approved for Q4 for the rest of this year. Just curious kind of where the role of the Apex next year, right? I mean, the world's starting to open up a little bit, starting to travel a little bit more. Are there as many events next year at the Apex, or is the idea to get away a little bit? Like, where do you see the Apex fitting in next year?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. We'll have to see where the world takes us next. Who knows what's going to happen. But, yeah, it's looking good, and there would be less fights here, yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of other things that are being booked here.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about was just Jose Aldo walking away. Obviously, been around this company for a long time, WEC, UFC, I mean, a true legend of the sport. Just curious kind of what you think about him walking away and just what he means to this company.
Yeah, we love him, man. This will always be his house. I told him, if you ever need anything here, you ever want to go to an event, this is always your house. And this is a guy that, from the WEC to the UFC, helped build the sport, this brand, and Brazil for us. So we love him, and we always will. He's made a great life for himself down there, too, and done some great things and made a lot of money, and I couldn't be happier for him and his family.
Dana, last week you were saying how much of this is mental to fight in this sort of environment. So how crazy is it to see a 17-year-old not come in and look that good physically, but to have no fear, just relentlessly pushing the pressure? No,
you're absolutely right. That's one of the things that impressed me the most. And I loved how active he was. He's not one of these guys that's a jiu-jitsu guy that just lays around and whatever. He's always going for something. How slick he is, how he takes the back. When you get his back, how he can get out. Just everything that kid did tonight impressed me. And especially his cardio. There was never an adrenaline dump where he looked exhausted at one point, and there was never a lull in the fight with either guy.
I know we seem to be saying this more and more often about how we're watching the sport evolve in our eyes, but when you see someone who's 17 and he does a flying knee to a takedown transition and he does the leg stretch in the first round, are we seeing like this sport has so much further to grow and we're just starting to scratch the surface?
You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And yes, yeah, I agree. And I was talking to you guys last week or whenever it was. We're building this PI in Mexico. We're going to build the PI in Africa. We're talking about one in Abu Dhabi. And as this stuff starts to happen, and I'm telling you, over the next 5 years, you're going to see some crazy athletes in this sport.
You've mentioned what this show does for people in the past, like Sean O'Malley and guys like that have come off with sort of big attention. But this season in particular, I feel like 17 years old, Bo Nickel, you've got some guys who are coming in the UFC who've almost already got storylines that are going to have fans talking about them. Joe Pyfer as well. Like, have you seen the metrics for guys like that? And
this is the first season that when we put on fights now, these fights start trending worldwide, like our pay-per-views do or our big fights. So it's never happened until this season, where like tonight during that fight we were trending number 4. We got up to number 4 tonight worldwide. I mean, this just started this season.
So this is going to become one of your biggest vehicles for like new stars right off the bat. They can enter the UFC, for their first fight and have more attention on them than some of the veterans at this point.
100%. And this will eventually, it should be, and then eventually this should be on ESPN, and it will be on ESPN, the network.
Last one from me. Joe Pyfer spoke very highly of you and said that you'd got him a house and you'd given him some money outside the Contender Series. I'm curious why you did that and what exactly is it about Joe Pyfer that you like so much and wanted to help out?
I do a lot of things for a lot of people that I don't necessarily talk about. Joe Pyfer, when I left the press conference that night, he told me that he was about to be homeless. So that ain't gonna happen.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
I just wanted to talk about a couple of storylines from last weekend's card. Aspen Ladd missed weight again. I just wanted to know your plans for her. Is she gonna kind of be banned at bantamweight or at bantamweight and then kind of forced to go to featherweight? Like, what do you do with her?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's, I do know, but we probably talk about that at the appropriate time. But, yeah.
Thank you. Gregory Rodriguez, brutal cut. Is that one of the nastiest cuts you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I had a doctor today. If you look at that cut, if you go, that was on my story. you can see an artery in there, like right in the middle of the cut. And what an incredible job Dr. Shu does at sewing these guys up, man. And, you know, however long ago, I mean, how long has he been with us? 13 years, 14 years or something crazy like that? That's why we brought that guy in, you know, early on. You know, these guys get cut with elbows. And if you don't get them stitched up the right way, the scar tissue and just the cut itself, if it's not done the right way, they'll rip open for the rest of their career. This guy sews these kids up so they look good. They don't even look like they've had, because some of the girls that have been cut, and as far as prolonging their careers, Dr. Shu has done a phenomenal job with these kids. It's awesome, man.
Going back.
But yes, one of the most disgusting. I mean, that's even worse than Marvin Eastman, which Marvin Eastman's probably number 1 or 2 all-time grossest cuts.
Absolutely. Going back to Jose Aldo, do you have a favorite moment with Jose or a favorite fight that you have?
Those are always hard for me, but yes, I actually do with him. I think that time when I think the fight was in Rio when he jumped out of the octagon and jumped in the crowd, and the crowd was carrying him around and the place was going nuts. It's one of my favorite Jose Aldo moments.
Security team didn't like it.
Huh?
Security team didn't.
Yeah, security doesn't love it, but I do.
And then finally for me, with the 30th anniversary of the UFC coming up next year,
Yep.
Is that something that you guys plan for already, or is it kind of just, or do you wait for it also?
Yeah, no, we've been planning and working on this for probably 6 months now.
Is it the same thing with UFC 300, or is that a little bit too far?
That's too far. Definitely not thinking about that yet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dana, I know you tried to stay away from the background check on the fighters, but did you hear something once the Rosas thing was announced that from other fighters where he trains here in Las Vegas?
Well, we talked about it long before the fight was made, and they wanted my opinion on bringing a 17-year-old into the UFC.
Did you talk to any of his coaches? He trains sometimes at Extreme Couture, so with some of the UFC fighters. Did you hear anything from the fighters that have trained?
No.
Like Brandon Morgan?
Not till tonight.
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
With the Austin Lane fight, first round, where does that rank in the most brutal low blows you've ever seen?
Ooh, yeah, no, that's right up there. That was a nasty low blow. Yes, that was one of the worst.
Apparently, you could be seen laughing on the broadcast. Can you just confirm if kicks to the dick are funny?
That I was laughing?
Yeah.
Oh, I promise you I wasn't laughing during that. If I was laughing, it was because of something else. No man laughs when he sees that happen. That I guarantee you. That was a bad one. He should have took the full 5 minutes.
With Raul Roses, did you have to get special approval from the commission or anything? Because I think only a few states allow 17-year-olds to fight.
We did.
Did you speak to his parents or anything, or how?
I didn't know. I'm sure somebody in the commission probably did, and I'm sure they had to sign waivers for him to compete.
You've told us a few times over this season that you might get softening with age. Was there a part of you that was just thinking, you know, please don't get hurt, or were you just like, fuck it, just bleed?
On what?
With Raul Roses, were you protective of him at all? Because he's so young and he's the youngest by quite a few years. Were you hoping that he wasn't going to get hurt? Or?
No, I mean, we hope they all don't get hurt. I mean, we don't want to see anybody get hurt. The question is, you know, before they come in here, do you believe that they're at the level that they can compete here at the Contender Series? You know, it's not like we brought this kid right into the UFC. We brought him into the Contender Series. He fought a guy whose record was close to his. The only difference between the two was age. And you saw during the fight that they were very well matched. I mean, that was as good a matchmaking as you will ever see. I mean, that fight reminded me at some points of B.J. Penn and Joe Daddy Stevenson when they fought. High-level, badass jiu-jitsu, you know, and both guys, you know, going back and forth. I mean, he was even caught in a deep, nasty guillotine that he didn't choke to and didn't go to sleep to. That was some high-level shit.
You mentioned the age, and because him just winning is impressive enough, but at 17, can you put it into context for us? What were you doing at 17?
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of hard work and dedication that kid has put into this sport already at 17 years old. There's a lot of people, maybe they screwed around with jiu-jitsu or did some boxing or Muay Thai, but to be able to come to the Contender Series and to put it into perspective, I mean, you're talking about every Tuesday night, the absolute best fighters in the world that are not signed by the UFC face off here at the Apex. And he was one of them at 17 years old. So, you know, the amount of hard work and dedication that that kid has put in already is mind-boggling. And what's even crazier is, every week I'm telling you guys, wow, I'm signing this kid and he's 22, or I'm signing this kid and he's 23. I'm not looking at people till they're 25 or 26 and have great records. So to not even hesitate to sign a kid at 17, he's special. He's very, very special.
Nice. And Deontay Wilder was back at the Apex tonight. Have you had many conversations with him recently?
Who was?
The American heavyweight boxer, Deontay.
Oh, Deontay? I didn't even see him until I was leaving. I didn't know he was back already.
He was in time for Rosas. He was there for the 4th and 5th fights.
Yeah, no, I didn't talk to him.
Okay, thanks. And are you going to watch his October 15th fight against Helenius?
Probably, yeah. I watch pretty much everything that's out there. I watched the Canelo fight this weekend. I'll watch Deontay's fight, and I'll watch Fury's fight. Yep, I watch all the fights.
Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Dana, with the international PIs, and thanks again for another great night, with Mexico, and will that mean that Contender Series might be like an international thing, or will the Contender Series always be like an Apex Vegas thing?
Yeah, no, the Contender Series, we'd pull people from all over. I mean, tonight you saw kids from Brazil and all over the world. We'll continue to find the best unsigned talent and do it on just one Contender Series, because the whole world can watch it on Tuesday nights from here.
Agreed. And lastly, with the hosting Deontay and having things like this, will we see more, not necessarily crossover, but welcoming people to the Apex and helping kind of like crossover promote and stuff?
No, everybody's welcome to the Apex. I mean, if people call and ask to come and watch, everybody's welcome anyway. It's not something that we're trying to do or whatever. Whoever wants to come and watch is welcome.
And last for me, it's still a rumor, but how excited are you that we could potentially get in Vegas that Crawford Spence Jr.? That's been taking like 3 years to happen.
What's the question?
With these big boxing fights finally taking forever, but finally happen. Are you excited with the Spence Errol Crawford?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a fight that should be made. It's a fight that needs to happen, and boxing never does that. Never does that. So it's good to see it happening, and hopefully it's good for the sport. I hope they do a great gate and sell a lot of pay-per-views for it, because that would show these guys, if you put on the right fights, the fights that are supposed to happen, then they can all make some money.
Playing off that, so a report just came out from Dan Rafael that Canelo Triple G did 575,000 pay-per-view buys. That would seem a little low compared to their first two. Do you think that's just because they did it too late, or do you think that's because boxing?
100%. The fight was too late. That fight should have been done 4 years ago.
One follow-up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now that that Raul is signed, he's calling for a fight as soon as possible. He will be 18 in October. Is there any chances that he's getting a fight before the end of the year or something like that?
He just fought. I have no idea. I have no idea when we'll fight him again. But, yeah, we'll see.
It was just announced that that Canada, the Canadian government, is ending the COVID-19 protocol at the end of this month.
Yeah, I heard yesterday that the pandemic's over.
So are you going back to Canada?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, Canada's one of our massive markets. We haven't been there in a long time, and I'm excited to get back up there.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Are you guys done with me? Yeah? All right, have a good night.
mic. It's like, and I'm here, and I'm over there, and I'm also, by the way, I'm here. Suddenly it becomes like a 9-foot wingspan as soon as you get the mic. You guys are taking up so much more space. Hello, guys.
I smash you like the division.
Well done. Congratulations, obviously, in the UFC. Just imagine still processing it. What's the emotion like for you right now?
Поздравляю с получением контракта UFC. Я понимаю все эмоции у тебя, но как ты себя чувствуешь?
Я чувствую себя очень хорошо, как будто это все сон. Не знаю, молодой, знаешь, не описать эти чувства словами.
It feels like a dream. You know, I'm very young. I'm only 22 years old. I just made a history. The first fighter from Tajikistan in the UFC. I just can't describe it in words.
Some pretty incredible scenes from Tajikistan. We were seeing video of like people all together. I mean, have you gotten to see any of that yet? And just how amazing is it to have a nation rallying behind you?
Все таджикские фанаты поддерживают тебя. Ты в инстаграмах видел какие-нибудь видео?
Как я сделал, здесь уже 2 дня мой народ не спит. Все ждут, даже старики, маленькие дети, бабушки, дедушки. Все, короче, ждут. 2 дня никто не спит. Сейчас у меня 7 часов утра. Все вышли, празднуют мою победу. Вообще.
For the past 2 days since I made weight, nobody was sleeping, starting from young people to old people. It's 7 a.m. in the morning in our country. People are celebrating, and I mean, it's just crazy.
Tajikistan has some pretty amazing athletes and some other organizations around the world. Are you hoping that maybe this helps bring attention to them as well?
У Таджикистана тоже есть очень хорошие перспективные бойцы. После твоего выступления и получения контракта, ты думаешь, это откроет дороги для других бойцов?
Конечно, это наоборот хорошо. Я хочу вот прославить свою родину, чтобы тоже знали Таджикистан, мою страну тоже знали, то, что у нас тоже есть хорошие бойцы. Я думаю, это выход, то, что я подписал для меня контракт UFC. Сейчас очень много таджиков тоже будет есть, я надеюсь.
Of course, I do want to put my country on the map. I do want to make it famous. And hopefully by signing in the UFC, it will open a lot of doors because I do know that there is a lot of prospective fighters from our country.
Your performance seemed pretty flawless tonight. I imagine you're happy with it, but how do you feel about how you performed in the cage tonight?
Твое выступление было хорошее, но ты сам как думаешь о своем выступлении?
Я вообще готовился для другого соперника. Я даже не знал, кто это Джон Уик. Я же, как сказал Джон Уик, даже если Кинг-Конг, Джош Уик. Даже я один бой его не смотрел. За 4 дня отправили мне, сказали, с этим будешь драться. Я говорю, хорошо, вышел, подрался.
Actually, I had a different opponent. It was a different guy. I mean, I did not know anything about Josh Wick, respectfully. And they just gave me like 4 or 5 days before the weigh-ins. And, you know, for me, it doesn't matter. Even, you know, as Habib says, they put me in front of the King Kong, I'm going to fight him.
Interestingly, you don't have a lot of finishes in your career, but you got the first round finish tonight. Was there just a special feeling tonight that kind of willed you to that finish?
Интересно, у тебя немного финишев в карьере. Как себя чувствуешь на этом финише?
Ну, не в Америке, а в других, в Азии, например, когда ты 3 раунда дерешься, зрелищно, всем нравится. Из-за этого я там, мои бои всегда проходят 3 раунда. А так, если надо финишировать, я готов финишировать любого.
Actually, in Central Asia, the organizations that I used to compete, people love 3-round amazing firework fights. But, you know, if they want to finish from me, I'll start doing finishes from now on.
They probably will. Go for finishes, that's it. Last thing for me, now that you're in the UFC, what's ideal for your debut? Is there a date, a location, an opponent? How would you like your debut to happen?
Вот теперь попал в UFC. Когда ты хочешь выступать, есть ли у тебя какие-нибудь соперники в голове?
Я сказал Дана Уайту то, что дай мне сразу топ-15. Я готов. I'm ready.
I mean, I already say to Dana, give me right away. You can give me even top 15 if you want it.
You guys in Jacksonville covering the media. ESPN 690. Yeah. I was sitting right behind you, dude. You didn't see me?
No.
Yeah, I was sitting right behind you.
That's hilarious. Well, Austin, congratulations. I mean, I'm sure it's kind of still setting in a little bit, but this has been a long journey to get here. So what's the feeling like for you right now?
Yeah, it has been a long journey, man. It just feels justified, you know. I said this all the time, so I'm blue in the face. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish, you know. And bad things will happen. You'll face adversity, but if you overcome that adversity, it's all good. You know, it's my second opportunity here. I made good on it. I think people get second chances. People love that story. I made good tonight.
An admirable attitude, of course, but I wonder, I mean, did you have it after the first loss here at the Contender Series? Did you have it after the next loss? I mean, did you have that resolve at all times, or were there some moments where you're like, damn, maybe this is over?
No, there was never a moment where I doubted myself, because I surround myself with people that always push me, you know, that always inspire me. I keep a very tight circle, and I let very few people in, but the people that are here are in my circle. They kept pushing me. So it was never an option to walk away from this sport. I had to make good on it. I made a promise to my coach that I'd make it here. So I had to make good on that promise, and now we're here.
There's a handful of ways, obviously, to make it into the UFC. When it was on the Contender Series again, like, did you welcome that, like, to right or wrong, or was part of you like, can I just get a short notice debut or some other way in?
Man, to me, it really didn't matter. You know, if you look at my record, I thought maybe I could get a shot without the Contender Series. But whether it's the Contender Series, man, a backyard boxing match, it doesn't really matter, man. You know, like, I'll do what it takes to get here, and I finally got that justified.
Obviously, an early finish tonight, but not exactly an easy fight either. I mean, how did you feel about your performance and just how things played out?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks getting taken down, right? And the only shot that he landed was on my nose, which it sucks because I broke my nose 3 weeks ago, and then I re-broke it a week ago. Thankfully, I have a wife that's in healthcare, so she set it up for me. She reset my nose, and now it's back to being shitty again, but it is what it is. So a little adversity, you know, it is what it is, but that's kind of the story of my whole fight career, man. A little adversity, overcome it, you know. And if I can showcase some jiu-jitsu, which I've been working on, I'll showcase it.
I know this isn't the goal. The goal is to go higher up, right? But is this moment, does this feel like a special moment knowing, you know, kind of what you went through and to get back here? I mean, does this feel like an accomplishment in itself?
I mean, in sports moments you're talking about for my career, I would put it top 3. Like, it's not the greatest sports moment ever. The greatest sports moment would be July 1999, Little League Baseball. Joey Tetzlaff's on second base. We're down by 1 against Navarino. It's the Wisconsin Little League World Series. And 2 outs, 0-2 count. Dude's throwing curveballs all day. I can't hit him, man. He threw a curveball left in the zone, had a home run, won the game. That's my greatest sports moment ever. And the first time I came into Dana White's Contender Series, I told that exact same story to Brett Okamoto, I believe, who I don't know if he's in here or not. But that's my greatest sports moment ever, but this is up there as well.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, there's no way, like, you could just be making all that up. But that was literally detail exactly how it happened.
Bro, I'm telling you, go back and watch the video from, like, 2018. Just go back and watch it, man. You're going to see that's the greatest sports moment ever, man. It's when you're kids, you know, it's summertime. I think I was in 7th grade. Game-winning home run, man. Come on.
I mean, does UFC title top that someday, or it just can't even live up to something like that?
I mean, you know, we'll see. Like the UFC title, I could be like, what, 36, 37 years old. There's something about being a kid, man, riding your bike to practice. You know, it's that summertime. But yeah, UFC title would be pretty cool too.
I love it. Well, listen, obviously a great night for you. I guess now you know the debut is ahead, so I'm just curious. Last question for me: what's ideal for you? I mean, do you have a date? Do you have an opponent? Do you have a location? Like, what would be most perfect for you?
Dude, I don't specialize in perfect. You know what I'm saying? I specialize in the tenacity and the adversity. So you can put me wherever, man. Put me against whoever. I'll show you. I'll show you what's up. So it doesn't really matter. Eventually, fighting in Jacksonville, I think, would be fun. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Duval chants going on, trying to put Jacksonville on the map. And, you know, I have a lot of pride for that city, man, because that city took me in. It's blue collar, it's hardworking, and every time I fight, I try to reflect that with that city. And don't let this be a mistake. There's a lot of guys coming from Jacksonville now. You know, like we got a little behind in terms of, you know, you got the South Beach and the Miami guys and a couple of guys from Orlando. Jacksonville's on the doorstep. You know, a guy by the name of Preston Parsons kind of let us in the back door a little bit. I'm the second one. There's a lot more guys coming, mark my words.
Hey, Austin.
What's up, dude?
Where were you when you got the call that you were going to be on the Contender Series for the second time?
Oh, man. I think I was doing my radio show, if I'm not mistaken. My coach got it. I was doing my radio show talking about Kim Kardashian and stuff, you know, real riveting stuff going on. And, yeah, he texted me. He said, hey, we got to fight. And obviously I was excited for that.
Were you nervous because, you know, after your last Fury fight, it ended with an injury, right? And after that fight, you were so disappointed. Like, were you worried that you were not going to get another chance? Yeah,
so, you know, with that fight, I felt like that was going to be my showcase fight. You know, I had a very game opponent, and unfortunately, talking about Eric Lunsford, you know, I went for a takedown. He tried to counter it and put all his weight on that one leg and just snapped to pieces, man. One of the most gruesome sounds I've ever heard in my entire life. So, you know, I couldn't really showcase a lot of my skill set that fight. So I was planning on going out, putting in a great performance, going to the UFC from that fight, defending my Fury UFC title. It didn't come to fruition. You know, Dana White's Contender Series, so be it. It is what it is.
Obviously, Greg Hardy's not with the promotion anymore, but so is that kind of disappointing that you won't get that fight back?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's all about redemption. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of moving on to doing what he does now. I think he's in bare knuckle, if I'm not mistaken. You know, people ask me, like, what my most important fight was, and that's my most important fight, was the Greg Hardy fight. Because I'm not sure if y'all remember that fight, but I was kind of billed as the hero, and he was the villain. And I had a lot of people reach out to me, want me to beat him. And when I didn't succeed in doing that, a lot of people were upset with me beyond fighting. You know, so I really found out who my friends were. I found out who my support system was. But that fight taught me how to overcome adversity. You know, I've said it before. I think I said it like in the opening. I was a football player that was a decent striker in that Greg Hardy fight. When I left that cage, I became an MMA fighter.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you, man.
Have you ever drunk at a bar called Locals in Jacksonville?
Say what?
Locals.
Oh, yeah, of course, man. Locals, you know, yeah, but come on, man. Let's go.
John Morgan's got trashed in there. So.
Oh, are you with the Locals now?
Like every
hey, Pete's Bar, man. Pete's Bar is where it's at. Yeah. You been to Pete's Bar? Yeah, it's the oldest bar in Florida. It was supposedly. And it's supposedly Ernest Hemingway used to drink there. That's the word in the street. Take that for how you want.
I'm back to Locals.
Pete's, what do you mean it's back to Locals, highbrow, bro? We were slamming Miller High Lifes over there at Pete's Bar. Ain't no highbrow anything.
PBRs.
Come on now. What's up, man?
How's it going, brother? Listen, I am a transplant myself from the 904. I shot you 10 years ago as a photographer on the field for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, shit, right on. I'm sure we probably lost that game. My bad.
It was definitely a loss, actually.
What are you gonna do? You know,
moving out here was ugly.
It is what it is.
I look forward to shooting you octagon side instead.
Yes, sir.
For the up and coming on there. Listen, coming from the 904 Duval till we die on that side, obviously that's the case. Ultimately, what is it that you would say to those people that are still trying to get away from or out of the city to branch into bigger things? It's something that Jacksonville always has a problem with, becoming locally stuck in a way.
Yeah. You know what? I think when you talk about that, that's why I have so much pride in Jacksonville. You know, because Florida's a great state. You know, you got Miami, you got Orlando, you got Tampa Bay. But to me, Jacksonville's always kind of been the one that's always been kind of neglected a little bit. You know, and I mentioned it before, it's definitely blue collar. It's got all walks of life. And I embrace that, man. It's not glitz and glamour. It's just, it's gritting your teeth. It's going to work every single day. And it's putting food on the table. And I respect that. You know, coming from a small town in central Wisconsin, when I got drafted by the Jaguars, that resonated with me right away. The people resonated with me. You know, and I played in Kansas City, I played in Detroit, I played in Chicago. But I knew, once I was done playing football, that Jacksonville will be home. And it's the people that make it that way.
Excellent, man. Appreciate it. Look forward to that fight.
Right on, man.
Hey, Austin.
Oh, what's up? How you doing?
I have just one fun one, hopefully.
Let's get it.
Since you made the transition from NFL to MMA, I'm curious, of these three names, who do you think would make the best transition into MMA?
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers.
Man, I mean, Aaron Rodgers on the ayahuasca kick right now. So, when you're doing that ayahuasca stuff, it can kind of free your mind a little bit, open your mind to different things. I mean, you talk about jiu-jitsu and flowing. Patrick Mahomes, I feel like his brother would be a distraction. But, I mean, I guess it's kind of like the whole full send guys. He'd fit right in. But, I'm a Wisconsin dude through and through. So go ahead and give me Aaron Rodgers, man. Go ahead and give me the ayahuasca trips. Go ahead and give me the opening his mind and everything like that. And let's see what he can do in the cage.
And I assume you're leaving Tom Brady out because you think he'd be the worst?
I mean, does he have to do? What more do you want, Tom? You know what I'm saying? How many Super Bowls he got? You know, you're married to a Victoria's Secret. Well, not Victoria's Secret. What is she? She used to be a Victoria's Secret. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need to come and dominate another sport. Just do your thing in Tampa Bay. Go out on a high note, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. John Morgan, Pete's Bar on me, man. I'll see you. Hey, let's get some Miller highlights all day. All right, let's go.
Yeah. He gave me that contract. So.
When he started talking, I'm like, fuck, he's gonna say, well, let's get. And then when he said, I can't wait to see this kid when he's 22, I was like, no, motherfucker, right now.
Yeah, fuck. I'm just ready to fucking fight as soon as possible, bro. Fucking get those kills. Fucking come for.
Tell him that. Tell him you'll fight. You'll take any replacement fight ASAP, and he'll fucking get you in there right away.
Yeah. But hey, I'll call you.
Nobody's gonna want to fight.
Yeah. But hey, I'll call you in a little bit because. You're in front of hella cameras, I'm just UFC thing where everybody gets interviewed. But I'll call you. Yeah. All right, bro. I'll call you in a bit.
Love you.
All right, love you too. Yeah. Sorry.
Raul, congratulations on making it to the UFC. Long journey. You've waited your whole life for this moment, right? So
Yeah.
What's the feeling like for you right here?
I'm thankful and blessed for this opportunity, It all took hard work, and just like my parents supporting me, you know. So now I'm just ready to go for everybody, you know. All I see is gold, you know. We already opened the first door, you know. Another step closer to my dream to become the youngest UFC champion. And, you know, I already showed a little bit of my skill, you know. Y'all haven't seen nothing yet. That was like really nothing, you know. I can do way better, you know. But at the end of the day, whatever I say, it's not, you know, I got to go out there and show it. So next time I will go out there and show it.
People were talking about you as much as anybody, maybe outside of Bo Nickel. I mean, you had a ton of attention on you, right?
That's right.
What was the nerves or the feel like coming into this? Because it felt like, I mean, the pressure had to be immense.
Nah, I honestly didn't have no pressure, you know. But even if I had pressure, pressure makes diamonds, you know. But I had no pressure, you know, because I know what I have. You know, I wasn't even nervous. Backstage, if you see the videos like that they took, if they even release them, you know, I was like just taking a nap, you know. I woke up on the last fight, and I started like just warming up a little bit because I'm using everybody as my warm-up, you know. I don't even care, you know. I don't even care who you put in front of me, you know. I never get nervous, you know. I've been here, like, even though I'm 17, I'm an experienced fighter, you know, and I'm coming for everybody. I don't care who it is, you know. Even if I have to go fight right now, I'll go fight right now. I don't even care.
I know you would prefer to, you know, get a nice submission or something, but it was a great fight. So, I mean, I guess in your mindset, were you frustrated at how maybe difficult it was or how much of a fight Mondo was putting up?
Nah, I expected it because at the end of the day, this is Contender Series. Everybody's here for a reason, you know. And we're all like, this is a life-changing opportunity, you know. So I expected him to bring everything, you know. And I was trying to get the kill every second of the fight, you know. And I wasn't able to get it, you know. He was a tough guy, you know, hanging in there, you know. So props to him, you know. But next time I will get the kill.
So at the end of the fight, it's a great performance, no question about it, right? But we all still wondered, you know, he's 17. Are they going to give him a contract? So from the moment the fight's over until you hear Dana say yes, what's your expectations?
Wait, what?
Did you think, guaranteed, because it was a great performance, right? But you're still so young. So as you're waiting to hear Dana, do you think, oh, he's definitely giving me the contract? Or do you think, I don't know, maybe I'm too young?
Nah, hell no. You know, I'm here for a reason, you know. So I knew he was going to give me that contract, you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, you know. I'm 17 and I'm 6-0, you know. I know what I can do, and he knows what I can do, you know. Well, he really doesn't, you know, but he will know what I can do after I keep showing out. You know, I want to fight this Saturday, you know. But I heard there's no event this Saturday, you know. So I'll fight whenever they have another event, you know. I'm just ready to go out there and get the kill.
So if there was an event this Saturday, you'd probably be on it, right?
Yeah, I don't even. Where's the next event?
A week later.
Oh, well, I want to fight the next week. You know, whoever they put in front of me, I'm ready to go get the kill.
Last thing for me, I mean, you said it, the goal is to be the youngest champ ever. So, I mean,
right.
How fast do you see this journey to the top? I mean, how quickly to your fighting ranked opponents? I mean, how do you see this journey going?
You know, I'm just ready to fight like every week, every month. I don't even care. You know, I'm all gas, no breaks, you know. Like I said, I'll rest when I'm retired, when I'm old, you know. Right now, we're just getting started, so there's no reason to take a break, you know. And I know it won't be easy, you know. Nothing's easy in this life, you know, but I will become the youngest UFC champion. I don't care what it takes, you know. Nobody's going to take this away from me. So, like I said, if I can fight a guy from the top 5 on my UFC debut, I would. But I got to work my way up there, and I will be up there soon, you know. I will become a youngest UFC champion when I'm like 19, 20, 21. It doesn't matter.
Errol, you had 2 fights canceled when you were 11 years old. Do you do you remember those?
No, that was actually my dad's. You know, I don't know where it's in my record. You know, but that was actually my dad's. Was that pro, right? That was pro.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see on my topology that there's like 2 canceled bouts, but that's not even mine.
Oh, that's your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad because we have the same name.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where were you when you got the call for the Contender Series?
I don't remember, but oh wait, no, actually I was at home. I was at home on my way to the gym, but I was already expecting the call, you know, so it wasn't really nothing, you know. I just said, fuck it, put whoever you want to put in front of me, you know. I'm gonna go train, and you know, I'm just ready for whoever.
Were you surprised how tough Mondo was?
No, I expected him to bring it, you know. Like I said, this is a life-changing opportunity, you know. So, like I said on my other interviews, if you look back, you know, I said if it goes 3 rounds, it'll go 3 rounds. But I'm going to try to finish the fight every second of the fight, you know. The thing that did caught me a little bit, I was surprised, was that takedown that he was able to get on me, you know. He got to my leg, and I was like, fuck, he ain't getting it, you know. So I was just waiting for him to let go, but he did some weird shit that got me down, you know. So I was like, fuck it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, he did some weird shit. I got to look back to that video. I don't know what he did, but he got a takedown.
Raúl, felicidades con el triunfo.
Gracias.
Te van a dar súper atención, reconocerte todo ello. ¿Cómo se siente poder lograr este sueño y tú ya tenías esa meta en mente de llegar a ser uno de los peleadores más jóvenes, o sea, no en la historia posiblemente, que estar aquí en el octógono?
Pues se siente bien, se siente, pues porque he estado trabajando bien duro para este momento, entonces ahorita ya que es posible, pues puedo sacar a mi familia adelante, voy a comprar una sala porque no tenemos ninguna. Nos cansamos de comer arroz y frijoles, ahora sí vamos a comer bien y vamos a ir con todo, entonces vamos a comer bien y seguir adelante a lo que sigue, seguir ganándole a todos los vatos que me pongan en la jaula y seguir adelante.
De acuerdo. Pudiste ganar la pelea relativamente fácil, o sea, te dieron en las cartas de los jueces 3-0. ¿Cómo viste tú tu actuación, tu desempeño? ¿Cómo te sentiste dentro de la jaula?
Me sentí bien, no creo que sí me agarró en unas posiciones un poco como unos segundos, pero me salí luego, dominé yo toda la pelea 100% seguro, pero de todas maneras yo tuve la oportunidad para finalizarlo, pero no lo finalicé, entonces voy a ver por qué no lo puede finalizar y felicitaciones a él porque se aferró, le echó huevos, pero yo también le eché más huevos y salí con la victoria.
De acuerdo. Alguien tan joven es la pregunta obvia. Una nueva generación, la nueva sangre del deporte. ¿Cuáles son los peleadores que te inspiraron a ti?
Pues que me inspiraron, no sé, porque casi no miro a peleadores así como que me inspiran.
¿Cuáles estudias o dices,
pero
este estilo me gusta?
Pero estoy agradecido con John Jones porque, como lo dije, él tiene 23, él fue el campeón más joven a los 23 años y imagínense, si yo tuviera 17, así como estoy ahorita, 17 años con este nivel, imagínense si estuviera peleando amateur, fuera muy fácil. Entonces, yo me quise poner un reto y dije, ¿sabes qué? Me voy a convertir en el campeón más joven de la UFC, pero me gusta ver a Khabib, a John Jones y a todos ellos, pero mi peleador favorito es Tony Ferguson, pero sí, casi no admiro a ningún peleador, pero sí estudio como a John Jones, a Khabib, y le saco poquito de todo, todo lo que tienen y lo pongo en mi juego.
De acuerdo. Y finalmente para mí, ¿cómo se siente que tienes el apoyo de tu familia, de tu gente, cuántos países que claro te van a seguir por ser peleador latino, pero más que nada, qué emocionante es estar en esta parte del legado que va a dejar el UFC, que tienes a Brandon Moreno, tienes a Chito Vera, Dominic Cruz, sobran nombres que vas ahora tú parte de ser de esta familia.
Pues estoy muy agradecido con todos los que me apoyan, mis padres, mi hermano, todos mis amigos, todos mis compañeros de entrenamiento y todos sabían que podría yo hacer esto posible porque han entrenado conmigo, convivido conmigo, saben lo que hago yo para estar aquí, porque no crean que fue fácil estar sentado aquí enfrente de ustedes, pero también ya el deporte ha evolucionado, como si un día un morro de 14 años está sentado aquí, yo no estaría impresionado porque el deporte sigue evolucionando y ya lo demostré. Entonces ya abrí yo esa puerta para los jóvenes, para que también digan que ellos también pueden y así va el deporte evolucionando.
También felicidades y buena suerte con todo.
Gracias.
Prossegue.
Bruno, congratulations, obviously, on getting a UFC contract. I guess just tell us the emotions right now.
Bruno, parabéns por esse contrato no UFC. Só fala pra gente as emoções que você está sentindo agora.
Bom, agora, né, começo a cair a ficha, né? Tô realizado, né? Agora eu vi que realmente eu cheguei de verdade.
Well, now it's when it starts to settle in and I absorb the fact that this is happening. I feel accomplished, and now I realize that, yeah, I'm here. I've arrived.
Nice. What were the emotions like ahead of this? I mean, the featured bout of the night, you're undefeated, trying to get in the UFC. I mean, was it a different feel than your other fights so far?
E as emoções antes da luta? Invicto, evento da noite, a luta principal, tentar entrar no UFC, diferente das lutas anteriores que você teve, das outras 9?
Para ser bem sincero, assim, não teve muita diferença, porque eu vinha trabalhando nisso no meu mental, estava muito forte isso, né, de que essa oportunidade tinha chego, né? Eu acabei fazendo uma luta principal em junho, né, uma disputa de cinturão, e vinha trabalhando, né? Aconteceu de eu ficar sabendo que ia vir essa oportunidade e trabalhei para isso. Quando eu cheguei aqui, né, já tinha sido visualizado todas as situações que eu poderia passar aqui, mas que meu braço estaria levantado no final, independente de qual forma fosse, né? Então isso foi o que me deu essa segurança de chegar aqui, e muito trabalho mental, graças à minha equipe, aos meus mestres, né, que sempre frisam essa questão do mental. Né, trabalhar essa questão do mental, visualizar o que você quer, como você quer que acabe a luta, como você quer que aconteça. E foi isso, eu visualizei e estamos aí com o contrato.
To be very sincere, it didn't feel different as it was, because the mental piece was really there. I had a title fight actually in June, middle of the year, and then I got the call to be here. And to tell you the truth, I've mentalized, like I've visualized this moment. I saw myself. I just went through all the steps of what would happen, regardless of how it would happen. I picture myself, like, first of all, I thought of all the things that could have gone, which ways they could have gone, maybe right or wrong, and I picture all of that when I got here. And I was here before, and regardless of how it was going to happen, I picture myself with my hand raised. And I wanted to have my arm raised at the end of the day, regardless of how it happened. So I have to thank my masters for this, because of the fact that they've always emphasized, they emphasize this all the time, the mental piece of the game, that you need to visualize things. You need to see things happen. Where do you want to be? Well, you have to picture yourself being there. So I do have to thank them for that. And I do have to tell you that I visualized a lot of the things that happened tonight.
Nice. You visualized all the possibilities. You've had a ton of quick wins early in your career, but did you think at this level, Dana White's Contender Series, I'm only going to need a minute and a half to get a victory?
Você visualizou muitas possibilidades, mas ao longo da tua carreira você tem tido finalizações muito rápidas. E você imaginava que você estando nesse nível, num contender, você precisaria de só 1 minuto e meio para finalizar o negócio?
Bom, pelo trabalho que eu venho fazendo com a minha equipe, com os meus técnicos, com os meus treinadores, sim, né? A gente trabalhou para isso, né? Eu trabalho dia a dia para isso, né? E a minha carreira, através do judô, me deu essa segurança, essa confiança, né? O judô me mostrou que é 1 segundo de luta para eu cair de costas, e o MMA é 1 golpe, né? Então eu trabalhei em cima desse pensamento, desse raciocínio, né, juntamente aos meus mestres, aos meus companheiros, e consegui desenvolver essa confiança, essa segurança na minha estratégia de combate, graças ao meu potencial no judô, com a minha segurança nas quedas e com o meu jiu-jitsu.
This is a combination of all the work that we've done, the work I've done with my masters, my coaches, my training partners as well. I think the basis from judo really helped me out a lot, because it helped me to have the safety, the security of knowing that I can fall, that I can be put down on the ground. It takes, and it's this kind of a similar situation. So in judo, you can actually be taken down in one fell swoop. And in MMA, it's one strike. So that kind of gives you the security and safety for you to be like to understand that that's what's going to happen. So the coaches, the base from judo really helped me out, and it helped me understand that it can be quick. So it also obviously works both ways for me to do the same.
Last thing for me, I'm sure you're excited about your UFC debut, but you've also had 4 fights this year already. So I wonder, do you need some time off? Or are you hoping to fight quickly? Does a fight in Brazil make sense to you? What's the perfect debut for you?
Última pergunta minha é: você, obviamente, acabou de estrear e está entrando no UFC, mas é a tua 4ª luta no ano, é isso? Precisa de algum tempo para se recuperar? De repente, a luta no Brasil, dia 21 de janeiro, no Rio, já é uma possibilidade? Como é que você se vê estreando no UFC?
Bom, como eu sempre falo, né? Eu não faço camp. Eu treino da mesma maneira todos os dias. Eu estou preparado a todo momento. Assim como eu posso pegar uma luta em uma semana, eu posso pegar uma luta com 20 dias, 30 dias. Eu vou estar preparado em todos os momentos. Então, acredito que sim, que dia 21 seria uma ótima data para eu estar preparado. Mas se chama antes, com certeza estarei preparado igual.
As I always like to say, I don't do camps. I don't have any camps. All the training has been the same. I continue to train. It doesn't change the dynamic of my training. We do the same things, and the preparation never ends. So I could take a fight in a week. I could take a fight in 10 days. I could take a fight in 20 days. Yes, Brazil on the 21st January, that sounds great. But if they call me before, why not? I'm prepared. Tudo certinho.